goes up. But
Eh,
you are live. You can see things.
I can.
Okay. Gordon
Well,
News Drills. All right, I'm gonna mute my mic. My only concern is that I'll get AFK moved, but I don't think that happens because we don't have an AFK channel. So, ping me if anything goes wrong.
I'll let you know if anything goes wrong. I don't imagine it will. But why is this game getting casted in the first place? Ooh, George Pickens upgrade. Hello, cat. Come here. All right, MKL. I hope you guys can hear me in this, but we are having a surprise. Who just joined? Oh, hello, Mr. Rage. We have a very surprise MKL cast between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I assume both of these teams are undefeated, so this is going to be very good game of the week, or very good game. This could have been game of the week. I think it would have been very interesting, but I think either Steady just had one or Nick just had one.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, it's definitely a great game. The Eagles actually recently lost to the Jaguars, I believe, but the Steelers remain unbeaten.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, Nick looks like the hottest team in the AFC right now.
He certainly is, but this is the one you circle on your calendar. A lot of people's consensus, one of the top contenders in this league, and certainly Nick went to the Super Bowl last year, so it's a good maybe next step for Nick to try to overcome another big juggernaut on his schedule.
I think these games are super important in the regular season. It gives you a little heads up as far as where you are skill wise and where you are scheme wise. Because when you're playing these top opponents, it's nice to see not only if your team is where it's at, but also your scheme that you're using is where it's at as well.
Yeah, for sure. But we see an early third down. And so this is where, he's going to have to make things work. I imagine Steady's probably ready for seam sort of streak look. But, hey, a really nice zig route that he was able to see there.
Yeah, if Steady's going to be giving up that on third down all day, he's going to get frustrated, and it's going to be a long game for him. And iron sharpens iron, and I think this is a great spot for Nick. Whenever you finish first in the division, you're going to be playing the top opponents across the league, and right now he's looking like he deserves to be playing steady right now. And in
Yeah,
alternate universe, this could have been the Super Bowl matchup last year.
it definitely could have been. I mean, you see a very maybe tight game plan so far that is marching down the field, but certainly he wants to remain mistake free. Really nice cutback lane. Oh, wow. I did not expect that. And that's going to be a touchdown. What a beautiful run. That was a beautiful run.
And my biggest concern for Steady is he's very stubborn to run dollar. He's going to run dollar every game, and sometimes when you're going against someone who's going to run the ball consistently, you're going to have to switch formations. And I don't think Steady's the type to do that.
I know Steady does love dollar. I think Steady believes that if he gets the personnel in place, his dollar defense is going to be among the best in the league. But at this point, he consistently will say his dollar defense maybe doesn't have the right people at the right spots to be as dominant as he would like.
Yeah, this Eagles team does have an inside stuff, so that does help him tremendously. But other than that, on the defensive line, you have Nolan Smith, who's not a good block, run stuffer, and his other edge isn't a good run stuffer either. So, in the pass rush department, sure, they're fine, but when you're going against someone who's running the ball and your end has 54 block shed, you're gonna get ran all over.
Yeah, he has. I think he's starting D'Angelo Malone this year, recent Super Bowl MVP from the Falcons, and he's not much of a run defender. You're right. And Nolan Smith, I think he's trying to make a better run defender. But I mean, the Steelers' defensive line is likely superior when you add up the four players.
Yeah, I think so too, and that's going to determine this game as we see. If
Great pass rush.
Steady's able to get in a rhythm and throw, sure, he's going to be fine. But this D line, the difference of D line is really going to determine this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to use. You'll see, some of the better passers in this league will be able to carve up the middle of the field. They'll be able to diagnose things coming up the middle. Wow, with pressure right in his face, he can't get both feet down. A really nice read, but the pressure from Vea was right up in his face.
Yeah, and we see another huge third down come in on the first three plays of the game, similar to Nick, but I'm not sure Steady's going to be able to capitalize.
Well, he is going to want this running back route most likely, but that's not going to be on target. And the defender was, I think, the Joey Porter, one of the better players he has on his team. So Nick gets an early stop, and if he can duplicate what he did last time. I mean, we know what Steady's saying right now in his cast, right? He's saying something to the effect of, "Oh, that's the game. Oh, that's GG's right there. You can't. Oh, Corey, what are you doing, Corey? Even if you make the right read, if Corey doesn't make the right, I don't make mistakes. Corey Jackson makes mistakes. That's kind of what you'd hear right now."
And what it sounds like is just he needs someone who's like Mahomes to be able to.
Well, Mahomes helps everybody if you have Mahomes, most definitely. It's hard to get too upset when you lose a game with Mahomes and try to blame him.
Yeah.
That's the type of quarterback we're all trying to make. But certainly Corey Jackson is on the rise, and he's likely going to maybe be an MVP candidate again this year. He won it last year. But right now we see Pickett with a really nice underneath run. Oh, he does get the first down. Wow. Maybe he has reached for it, but I could have sworn that would be inches.
I think if we look back at the cycle, one of the best trades, hands down, goes to Nick for trading Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco has been the MVP of this team almost every season.
Yeah, oh, wow. I thought that was maybe a fumble. Pacheco didn't hang on there, but you're exactly right. Pacheco is somebody that consistently moves the chains, but Pickett finds these receivers. None of them are burners, but they're all about 6'2", 6'3", and they have decent enough speed to find spots and go up and get the ball. But he's going to have to convert another third down here. We'll see maybe if he goes back to a zig, maybe he gets the ball further downfield.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. The slant looks very promising. I'm glad he got rid of the little bubble route that's there. He's going to scramble out with Pickett. He might have the crosser. He's going to take off with Pickett.
Beautiful scramble. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not sure he was going to get there. I think if Steady might have clicked on and chased that down, I don't think he gets there, but he was able to get right across the line. That could
And
have been picked.
that very well could have been picked, but like you said, big body receivers. His guys are going to have the length to at least
They
keep
do
the.
kind of blot out the sun, right? You throw
Yeah.
it to them, and they are going to get a hand on it, make it maybe harder to pick, even if it's a tight window.
And we see Steady's user here, and we see that.
Wow, he holds on. Great catch. I mean, that's why you have a guy like Fearmouth, though, is because, it's not that he's fast, but I mean, if you throw it to him in a tight spot, he probably has 99 catch in traffic at this point.
Yeah, and I feel like every team needs a guy like that. Not everyone has to be 99 speed on your team. You want to disperse your talented players a little bit and their skill sets. And I think Nick does have that with, I think he has Rashad Bateman and Pickens. His two possession guys are Pickens and Fryermuth, and then in his burners, Bateman. I think Nick's built a pretty good team.
Woo! Yeah, he threads the needle there. That was the right read, and gets another first down. And Nick is dealing right now. I mean, we see that Nick's defense has shown up early, and his offense is indeed cooking. So, I mean, you don't count Steady out until it's like maybe the third quarter, and he's down like 21 points, and even then, he's the type of guy that can come back.
And we see,
Oh wow, holds on. What's that?
That was a huge play by his defensive tackle to read that. And
True. He kind of peeled off and covered there.
that was a manual adjustment by Steady, but that was a very good play. And we
Wow,
see
along the sideline, he is going to drop it. It was the right read, but I mean, sometimes you don't hang on to it. Maybe could have thrown it a bit easier to secure the catch. I mean, earlier.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen if Steady is able to hold him to 3. It makes things more interesting instead of being down by 2.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, his receiver did not activate. Kind of went right over his head, and kind of early mistake. Unfortunate for him, because I saw a world where the receiver goes up and grabs that, but he just didn't really do anything. And unfortunately for him, he can't even get 3 points now on this really good drive he was doing.
Yeah, my initial thought is, okay, his receiver's going to come back and score. And then we see a huge run by Steady that absolutely needed that to get the chain moving and his offense out of this little gridlock that he was having. But huge play by Steady. But back to that play, I thought his first initial thought his receiver was going to come down with it. But unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you can't have happen when you're playing top competition. Losing out on points, even if it's 3, is huge.
Yeah, it's really tough. And I mean, and I saw what he was seeing, and like we both saw that it could have worked, didn't work. That happens. But you got Steady now driving, and he did use his running back. He brought in one of the best running backs in the league, big power back, in real life, one of the finer running backs. And he's a guy that Steady's able to make some adjustments on. He might have done it there as well. He can add some extra routes on his running back. So Nick's going to have to pay careful attention to the middle of the field, especially with the running backs doing with some tricky routes.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs, his agent told him, "Hey, don't sign with the Raiders. Be a free agent and test the market." And Josh Jacobs absolutely got screwed. I think only the Eagles were the only team to give him an offer for such a high caliber player, and I believe he had to take a very cheap contract. But
Right.
so far, I think Josh Jacobs has the most passing touchdowns out of the Eagles. So very, very well. He is earning his.
This could go wrong for Steady, and it sure did. Yeah, he threw to a completely covered receiver there. Phillips is not one you can test on the outside. He's about 6'4".
90.
In his offense, he's like 96 speed. That's a really tough guy to throw against when you haven't beat him convincingly off the route.
Yeah, it looked like there was possibly a chance, but then he got bumped mid route, and then Phillips was able to get over the top and take the ball from him.
May have been a bump I missed for sure, but when at the time he let go, I mean, I was like, this isn't going to end well for Steady, I didn't think. But we see Nick with the ball again, maybe a chance to redeem his former drive. He can't be feeling too great after tossing an interception. Does fumble there. He takes more quarterback hits than most, much to many of our chagrin. We don't think that that's a wise thing to do, but hey, he was the AFC champ last year. He's undefeated so far, so what do we know? But we'll say that Pickett in the shotgun so far is the look maybe he's gone to. This is the one he's like, hey, I'm going to run. I'm going to throw a quick quick throw, like it's a look that's allowed him to march down the field. So he might stick with that.
Yeah, and good play by Mr. Blackwell on the backside is able to come around the offensive line and make that play. Otherwise, Pacheco probably has a ton of yards there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Blackwell is very speedy and really nice. It was an angle route for Pacheco, and it was an angle route that he allowed to become pretty much a slant that allowed him to pick up 20 yards instead of like 5 or 10 by waiting on that route.
Yeah, that was a beautiful design. Very common to see Pickett roll out and utilize the abilities
Woo!
that he
What a
route.
dot. Really, really good job there. So
Yeah.
early on, maybe to some people's surprise, Nick has come out hot. I mean, he could be up 21 if his receiver activates there earlier, but certainly plays like that go this way, that way. But so far, he's playing the better game. Steady needs to tighten up, maybe find something that's working, or else this game could get out of hand, which is maybe not what many of us expected.
Yeah, it's hard to say he's not playing the better game when the opponent doesn't have any points on the board, and I'm sure a couple things could have went the other way, but ultimately you just got to score. And if we did an interview, I'm sure that would be a talking point of my players didn't do what they needed to do,
Sure.
but you got to coach them and tell them what to do in the correct spots.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he needs Corey Jackson to make throws. We know that Corey Jackson can throw the ball harder this year, but he doesn't have that second and third ability that Steady's kind of looking to add at this point. And I think a superstar quarterback really only gets the ability Steady really wants in slots 4 and 5 if he can become an X factor. So that's one thing he's really trying to do is get his quarterback to become an X factor as soon as possible, so he can maybe invest in some really nice fun. Oh wow, a drop, terrible drop. Watkins might get cut after that.
He very good. And
yeah,
that's what happens when you value speed over good players. Is that
yes, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Steady is one that will throw. Last year on his playoff run, he was throwing a really kind of low. Wow, that could be picked. Wow,
what a play.
He throws it right at him, and Jacobs. This is why he went and got Jacobs. He can put him on an angle that's not obviously the route that is naturally in the play, and he can throw right at that user of Nick, and Nick's gonna have to shield that off because that's probably gonna happen all game. You've seen him throw a lot to his running back so far.
Yeah, kind of the crutch that we're not used to seeing Steady take is Steady wants to dot you up the field, but he's had to settle for throwing to Josh Jacobs a lot, and I do like that because Josh Jacobs is a mismatch, but I don't think that's Steady's ideal offense that he wants to do in this game.
No, I doubt that's what he's wanting. Nick's pass rush is working pretty well so far this game. We see him come free there. Could have been a bad play if he didn't choose to throw away. Wise decision by Steady. But, I mean, we see Steady 4 for 10. He's got about 70 yards so far and an interception. Certainly not what he's looking for, and likely something he's probably going to be trying to salvage for much of this game. But he does get his tight end coming across. This is a new find, McBride. Last year, he had a 6'7" dude or whatever that he was loving on all season long, and then he went out and immediately replaced him, and now he doesn't see the field.
Yeah,
McBride's a little faster.
Bulls team is free agency pickups from the offseason, and they've been.
What's going to happen here? Is this a free play?
I believe it is a free play. I do not know.
He doesn't even use it. He wasn't sure. He wasn't sure what the penalty was. What happened?
I am not sure what happened, but
it didn't even call a penalty. It didn't show a penalty. It's just 2nd and 10. That's crazy. That was a glitch.
Mm-hmm.
A good thing he didn't try to throw a free play because I don't even see a penalty popped up. But I could have sworn it showed that there was one.
Yeah, it did. It showed up like the icon of.
Wow.
Can't do that.
Steelers pass rush, man. TJ Watt, that's exactly how TJ Watt should play in a video game, right? I mean, this is a defensive player of the year multiple times now, and he's showing up in big spots. I mean, what do we get? 7-minute quarters for a pass rusher to show up sometimes, and Watt right now is incensed and on fire. Flag, though. What's it going to be? Ooh, illegal contact. An immediate first down erases that defensive stand that the Steelers were having, and the Eagles have new life.
Yeah, and that penalty I feel is wishy-washy. Sometimes your user just gets stuck clipping into a guy who runs into you, but it's going to be a defensive penalty 9 times out of 10. But Ultimately, you just got to move on from that. Steady gets saved, and ultimately can salvage this game because he does get ball at half. If he can double dip the chip and score here and score at half,
Could
he's in.
get sacked. Oh, it
And
might
we
be
were going
intentional
to
grounding.
grounding. That's absolutely.
Massive. Yeah. He was kind of in position to get sacked, but he's quick enough to spin away, but he was probably inches away from getting out of that pocket rule. Really unfortunate for Steady there. Maybe taking him out of field goal range.
Yeah, we're audibly down here. I'm not sure if he's going to try and get a weak box and just handle for three, but no, he's going to go to four verts. He's going to have Trey McBride. He's going to have.
Wow, he's probably going to go for it here. I doubt he takes three in this spot. Nick should probably be thinking timeout here, wouldn't you? Like salvage some time on the other end of this decision.
Yeah, the way Nick has been able to drive, in the realm of possibility, three is a very high probability if with like 20 seconds left. And we're going to see the flash.
So
He's going to keep going upfield.
stays in bounds.
And
Nick does not get a tackle along the sideline. A massive mistake for Nick, because honestly, there was multiple chances to tackle, and he kind of didn't follow through. Maybe assuming he would run out of bounds, and he just tiptoes to a touchdown.
Yeah, something else is Nick likes to spam the strip ball button, and I saw him try and utilize that there, and that will sometimes stop your guys from keeping their momentum. And ultimately, Trey McBride was able to run past his defenders. And now, you could have had potentially 20, 30 seconds left with two timeouts, and now
Yeah, the
wasted timeout.
timeout usage was super questionable for the Steelers, and unfortunately for him, he definitely could have had a lot more time. He's maybe just going to take it into half. No, he is calling his timeouts,
Yeah, and
and he has to be careful not to, get a turnover here and give up some free points. Maybe he'll score. I mean, I'm not sure he can bomb this defense, but maybe.
yeah, and we see
Wow, he's going to quarterback keep takes a hit.
he's not going to fumble. He is going to take it into the half. That's a very risky play call that I'm not a fan of right
Let's
before
see who
half.
called a timeout here. It was indeed the Steelers again. They may check a Hail Mary here, and if so, I've seen a lot of pick sixes on Hail Marys lately. It's amazing. It's almost like the game gives a boost to an interception right at the end of the half. Like it gives them a free pick art. Is it called pick artist that allows them to have unlimited stamina?
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost like that's what happens. Like at the end of the half, I feel like the game wants to facilitate big moments. And if your player has amazing catch, what is it called? Spectacular catch.
Mm-hmm.
You'll often see a big play, right? Remember our game, you and me? Pitts went up and I lost you, but Pitts went up and he caught this ridiculous catch within three people defending him or something.
I do.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think the game facilitates these sort of moments, inches, big plays in big spots. And honestly, in that spot, Hail Marys, if they're picked off, are often pick sixes that I've seen.
Yeah, I think it's called DDA. I'm not exactly sure what the acronym is, but it's been evil monster that's been hiding within the EA game development.
Secret code. I
Yeah.
remember there was QB accuracy. Last year I found it on the website. There was short accuracy, medium accuracy, deep accuracy, and then there was one that can never be changed. And it was on every quarterback. They had just accuracy. And it essentially was an accuracy rating that could never be altered on players. And I thought that was crazy.
And we're going to see a suplex animation here, and I don't know who number 0 is, but he's probably going to have to come out of the game and get some water. McDaniel.
It was interesting to see Steady utilize an RPO this deep downfield. You see Steady will often try to get some deep routes going, but using an RPO at this point maybe shows the respect of this Steelers pass rush so far that's given Corey Jackson problems.
Yeah, and Steady did have the corner route. Nick got stuck on Joey Porter Jr. and went the wrong way on the corner route. Unfortunate miss there by Steady, but he is able to pick up the first down with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has really willed this team to the spot that it's in right now.
Josh Jacobs has been the motor of this Eagles team thus far. Certainly, Corey Jackson's just trying to find his footing, figure out exactly what's going to work, and maybe overcome an earlier interception. And he's in a great spot to tie up the game. I mean, this is what Steady. He'll get more comfortable in a game. He'll see what he's going to have to be playing against, and then you see moments like this where he gets big chunks because he's saying, "Okay, this is what you're trying to do." Steady's somebody that can adjust. But yeah, the Eagles in the shotgun. Oh wow, he completely mauls his player in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
It almost feels like flopping at this point, but I mean, he was running where his receiver cut, and it just annihilated him. Big penalty again. And he's gonna take his running back yardage. You know, he said, "Okay, if you're gonna give me the running back, I'll throw it underneath." Which, you know, for the Steelers' purposes, you know, this is something that I don't think Steady loves to do: dink and dunk, throw short. So that he's forcing him to maybe take short drags and throws to the running back. Maybe a credit to Nick, because Steady would love nothing more than to have quick score after quick score.
Yeah, you know, quick scoring is the game, and that's how you get your QB a dev by winning MVP. And these long time-consuming drives, like we're at what, a 3-minute drive right now, 4-minute drive by the end of it.
Yeah, there's only 11 minutes left in this game. He is going
And
to get a touchdown there, though. So tie game.
Jacobs.
Yep,
And
Josh Jacobs on the wheel. That's how the Steelers scored earlier as well. The wheel was super powerful this year if you can draw it up correctly, and both quarterbacks have been able to read a wheel touchdown so far today.
yeah, and this is something that I'd like to see Nick adjust for the next time that Steady gets the ball, is trying to stop Josh Jacobs. I think if you can stop Josh Jacobs, you can probably win the game here. Because
Definitely Josh Jacobs and McBride have been a big part of the Eagles' attack right now. He threw it downfield, got picked off, and we haven't seen him go as deep since.
yeah, and when you've been throwing to guys all game, you kind of get lackadaisical with your reads. You kind of make one read, look at the guy, and kind of throw it in. I'm not sure
And
if type, but you can get lazy on your throws and make a mistake sometimes.
well, Nick has an excellent opportunity. He had the unfortunate interception here earlier, but other than that, he has moved the ball well today, and he chooses a pretty good RPO spot there. Gets jukey with it. Maybe George Pickens has jukebox. Maybe
Yeah, I'm not sure what George Pickens has, but he did
it
animate,
lit up. Maybe it's recuperation or something. It's like, hey,
or
here's more
maybe
energy
potentially.
or energizer. That's what it's
Mhm.
called, right?
And we're going to see a
Wow,
play here.
I
He
did think
might.
that was a run spot. I think he has triangle if the guy can't turn around. And sure enough, really nice throw downfield. And maybe that makes up a little bit for the earlier one they got picked, because that's a similar situation. Your guy's in front. Is he going to animate and grab it or not?
Mhm. And now we see Pickett in his X Factor. Not sure it's going to change much of the game, but it is something nice to have when you're going to get ball last, essentially, in a game, and you might have to make a deep throw. I'm really liking the throws that Nick is making. He takes his crossers when he needs to, but other than that, he's really thrown to the flat, and that's been Nick's bread and butter, and he's doing it very well. And we're gonna see another run with Pacheco here. Looks like it's gonna get stuffed. It does, and that's huge by Steady holding him to 3. If Steady holds him to 3, I think Steady wins this game.
Possibly, but certainly Nick just doesn't want to be held to 0, and that's exactly where he was held last time, right here in this spot, third and in the red zone. He does get the catch, and I think that's Bateman maybe. Nice grab there in the slot while taking an almost immediate hit. So that's what you want to have from these guys that he's retained. He's a big fan of his broad framed receivers in this offense.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan,
Wow, he is going to get in.
and
Really
he
good keeper.
hit before the goal line, but it doesn't matter. Kenny Pickett bounces off touchdown.
Yeah, really nice keeper by Pickett, able to find the lane, and there's not a lot of quarterbacks that make use of their quarterback's running ability as frequently as we see Pickett. And Pickett isn't one of the fastest guys in the league, but I would almost wager to say he probably has more rushing yards than Lamar Jackson. Maybe more than Anthony Richardson. Probably not more than Anthony Richardson. I think Richardson runs quite a bit in the Jets offense, but Pickett is running well this game. I think he has about 50 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, that's pretty good by running back standards.
Yeah, and Pickett's not the fastest. He might only be 80, 81 speed, but he's able to pick up 4 or 5 yards if you really need him to. And calling a read option there is no one's thinking, hey, I'm going to run the ball with Pickett here. And catches Steady off by surprise. We see a run here, which catches me by surprise. Josh Jacobs is going to pick up 9 yards here and make it
And
second and
Yeah, I mean, Steady's maybe hoping the RPO is open there. Doesn't decide to throw the RPO, but Steady is trying to get the run game a little bit more incorporated into his offensive game plan. And maybe try to get Nick thinking a little bit more about that, and that could be a touchdown to the fastest player on the team.
Touchdown. And that's absolutely huge because, you're looking at the time here. You're thinking about how Nick likes to operate. There's a possibility that you don't get the ball back, and now you're kind of guaranteeing that you do because there's no way that 7 minutes are coming off the clock with this next drive.
I'll say that we have seen it. There are teams in this league that are capable of 7-minute drives, and even though it's mind blowing, I highly doubt that's what Nick's going to look to do. Nick's just thinking hopefully 7 here, I imagine. Even 3 would at least guarantee that you have the lead, and Steady has to do something about that. But definitely 21-21. If you had told Nick before the game he would be tied with somebody like Steady here in the third quarter, he'd probably be pretty happy with that information. But at this point, it's either team can come away with this win. If Nick continues to drive down the field like he has, there's no reason he can't take this victory.
Yeah, the one thing that Nick has done very well the past couple seasons is he's played mistake-free for the most part. He wins a lot of games playing mistake-free, and it's when he does have those mistakes is when it costs him the game. Some may argue he may not have the best skills of the league, but one of the best things that you can do is take care of the ball and just let the game come to you naturally, and he's done that very well.
If we tried to fill this team, I think a lot of people would look at it and say, I can't win with this team. They would say they maybe don't have fast enough receivers, or maybe they don't have enough dominant players on the defense or whatever. But with an aging Vea, aging Landry, aging Watt for sure, 33, and a decent young core of corners that aren't the fastest, I mean, he has gotten a lot done. And, in a league right now where there's a lot of pretty strong teams that are tough to play against, he's doing a lot with one of the less juggernaut teams in the league.
Yeah, and that is a point of topic in the Steelers locker room right now. Is TJ Watt said he wanted to retire a Steeler. He is 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He wants a long-term extension. Wasn't giving it to him this offseason due to financial situations, and they could lose piece in the offseason that makes this team competitive. And if they lost, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like this team. And based on how the Steelers organization has treated him, he might retire. And we're going to see a big here, 2nd and 12. Now it's 3rd and 5, very manageable. Now you're in a where you have 2 downs. You could run it here if you wanted to, and just figure this is in a very Steady's in a formation where running the ball could work. We're going to see a drag. We're going to see Pacheco. We're going to see Pickett take off. Pickett get hit.
Oh, wow. He does
Pickett
get hit.
And
I don't know what his X factor is. Maybe it's Truz or something.
I think it's Bazooka.
Well, that won't help. Well, I mean, he could throw it further, but he's only on the 28-yard line, so that's probably not going to be too useful here. But he is lit up. It can be intimidating to see a quarterback on his game. Oh, finds the open man, and he might score. He does get to the 4-yard line, and Steady is put at the point of possibly needing to go get a touchdown to tie it up here with 4 minutes if Nick can put this in, and he's shown the ability to do so far.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I'm with Steady on Rocking Dollar down at the goal line. He does stop, and I will say this is the hardest place to score a touchdown in the game. Super condensed.
I'm tickled by Pacheco having nothing in front of him there and deciding not to just reach the ball forward. But that's Madden.
I think 9 times out of 10 that's a touchdown.
Yeah, and right.
See him score again there. Is that
he does leap in, and this is what Nick had to do. And Steady is one mistake away from probably taking a loss here, which is, the Steelers have to be proud of their effort so far. I'm sure this Eagles are frustrated by the current situation, but the Eagles can certainly still come away with this win. So I'm excited. This is a really good game. I'm glad we're calling it.
Yeah, I'm glad we're calling it too. I am wondering what is Steady trying to score quick here and see what happens? He almost had a kick return touchdown. That would have been very nice for Steady.
No, Steady's very clock centered.
Yeah.
He's very clock minded. You'll see him talk about that. He'll talk about like, oh no, I don't have enough time, and oh, this is gonna happen. This is the worst. So it's like, I don't think Steady. Oh wow, well, that's not gonna help. Vea, really nice pass rush for Vea, and that's the sort of guy in the interior. Even though he's about 32 now, still getting it done for the Steelers.
Yeah, and that was huge because now you do have 4 downs, but it's going to be harder. But not.
Ridley, what a catch!
Yeah, what a catch by Ridley. How tall is he?
There's a 6'6" monster, Mr. Christopher Ridley, a much coveted player in the draft a year ago, and this Eagles team has made him a featured slot guy. He's pretty much a Kyle Pitts at wide receiver, and that's without any abilities just yet. He's really hoping to dev Ridley.
Yeah, and I think in the slot is where you see a lot of action from Steady's team. So I don't mind him there, but I feel like having a 6'6" guy in the slot is a little bit waste of his talent, especially coming out. All the analysts were comparing him to the next Julio Jones or Calvin Johnson. And did those guys play in the slot? Not really.
They move around, but certainly because Steady has some other burners on his team, he thinks about him as more of an intermediate threat, I imagine. But he is marching down the field. I imagine in Steady's mind, he doesn't want to score too quickly because Nick has shown the ability to get down the field, and there's no way he couldn't win with a field goal if he has enough time. Wow, that could have been picked. He kind of lets it go with Vea breathing right down. What a game for Vea. No real abilities to speak of, just a great defensive tackle and getting it done.
Yeah, thankfully for Steady, this ball is literally on the first down marker. All he has to do is get
Wow, he does get through.
Yeah.
That's Josh Jacobs right there. That's all heart because he was stuffed dead to rights at inches, but he's able to barrel forward.
Yeah, normally you'd see that type of animation with, lunch pail guys, sneaky, athletic, lots of heart. But Josh Jacobs shows his heart there, and we see Josh Jacobs again. And
tackle in bounds.
Yeah, if you're Nick, when do you start using your timeouts? When it's like 1st and 10 from the 14 or so?
No, I think at this point you don't use your timeouts until you get into scoring range, into the red zone, because right now the time's against Steady. If he can't march confidently downfield, right now he's coming down about 1 minute and he's still, 29 yards away. So I think you keep your timeouts until because those are going to be useful in the back end. Whatever, if Steady scored right here, you'd be happy you had all three. It's like, but once you get down, maybe in the red zone, Steady starts using his timeouts to keep the drive going. Maybe you consider using them, but I think this is where Nick would want to win the game right here. And it could have been picked. Could have been picked. And really good defense there, but offense was better.
And that's just, Josh Jacobs being better than the linebacker. I hate what EA did to linebackers and completely killed them if they don't have lurker. In past Maddens, that's probably lurk. We see a huge crosser.
He dropped. Wow, 21 seconds. See, if Nick was using his timeouts here, now he's giving free time to the Eagles, and they need time right now. 21 seconds to go 20 yards. They can do it. We've seen it, but if you get a couple tackles in bounds here, it's going to get tougher.
Yeah. Do you think Steady's going to go for 2 here? If he
might be in bounds. It sure is. That's funny. That's not in bounds, but okay. Steady might go for 2, but I almost doubt it. I don't think he wants to put the game in the hands of a 2-point conversion at this juncture. I don't think he feels that desperate maybe at this point.
Yeah, and my opinion is I don't like having things go
Wow, big penalty on the Steelers, and he's going to take the touchdown. And Nick did get in this situation not too long ago. Looks like he might go for 2. He's going for 2. He's going for the win. Nick's going to have to come out and play big defense on the goal line, probably watch for an RPO maybe. Looks like he's going to change his mind, maybe go for the extra point. Didn't like what he saw. Yeah, okay, so he is going for the extra point here. And Nick, against a game against Stinky, was losing and only had 10 seconds to get into field goal range, and he did it. So, this is a spot where Nick has come up big before, but he could easily get burned and throw a pick six or throw an interception to give a field goal quickly here too. So
Or it
Um,
be
the,
touchdown. Nick has had a few kick return touchdowns,
it's
and
not going to be there. He has 10 seconds once again. So here's the thing. If Nick gets a turnover here, it's probably game over. But if he goes to overtime, he might get the ball first, and he's shown the ability to move the ball downfield. But 10 seconds must look exciting. The whole field is open to him with 2 timeouts. He might get 2 throws to get there. Uh, I'm a little afraid for him, but he does have Bazooka lit up. We'll see what he decides to do. Oh, X is open.
he's gonna
He
have the
threw it a little
cross.
late.
I
He
think
does get down.
that that was thrown very late. He had the crosser wide open, and
Yeah,
Steady's guy just
that's not enough time, I don't think, unless there's a penalty here. He might be able to get up to the 50 and out of bounds. Maybe with down and call his quick timeout. It looks like he might get that. If he gets down, oh, he can't get down. That was a game winner right there. If he could have gotten down and gotten a timeout, he just needed 2 more seconds. That's how close this game is. Steady wasting just enough time to avoid a loss right there.
yeah, if 1 or 2 more seconds, and the Steelers are going to win the toss. I imagine they receive, and
Yep.
and
Steady's put in a tough spot right here. Recently, the Falcons took a loss to the Chiefs in this exact spot. If you win that overtime in the regular season, you get the first shot at getting a touchdown to win it, and that's it. But in the playoffs, certainly both teams get the ball. But the Steelers get the luck here, getting the coin toss, and they have every chance right now. They've shown the ability to score the ball. 28 points so far, all on the offense.
yeah, each team up to this point has one stop each. So I imagine being on offense first has to feel really good. And we're
Wow,
gonna crosser here across the middle could have been a touch
already.
if he
Yeah,
got.
one man to beat, really. He might be on conservative, but really attacking offense there. Maybe not what Steady expected, but he's coming out throwing, and he is going to get a little mesh route coming on a drag, and now he's in field goal range. So he can definitely get the field goal, but certainly the 7 wins it. So that's the most attractive option.
Yeah, imagine we see the RPO. We do. He does get a lead blocker. Gonna pick up the first down. Move the chains. Guarantee yourself at least 3 more downs to try and pick up a first. I like that play. I don't like this read option play that we're gonna see, but so far it's worked out for Mr. Nick.
Looks like he audibled out of it, and he has the ability to scramble left. Hopefully, he doesn't throw that. And wow, that's a catch. I'm shocked. That looked like it might have been a pick, but he's able to get it just to the left of the lurking defender and squeeze it in there. Maybe with that bazooka, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah. And I love this play call here on 2nd and inches. You basically get a free shot at the end zone. Might as well take it. It looks
He
like
is going to get right between 2 defenders and make
wow.
the catch. He's 5 yards away from knocking off many people's consensus top contender in the Eagles. So big spot for Nick. Likely cannot be too careful, but I mean, aggressiveness often wins these situations as well. You just really can't come away with 0, but 7 will win it.
Yeah, and
Or 6, I guess, technically.
defense, get out $1. He's going to want to run the play, want to run the ball in the first
Muscling to the inches.
guys,
Wow.
the 1 yard line.
Stinky is at the brink of Stinky. Steady is at the brink of disaster here, and he only has 3 down linemen here. I don't love that.
I don't either. But
big fumble at the goal line. Oh wow, he cannot keep the ball, and Steady just like that on the. I mean, that's the moments, man. These are the moments. Like I told you, EA is like, oh, you're on inches, you're gonna dive. Well, fumbling chances just went up, and sure enough, he gets a big fumble there. And horrible situation for Nick. Just the point where you couldn't fumble. Bad luck, but also kind of maybe a reckless decision to dive there and not just muscle it forward.
I don't think you need to dive in that situation. And Nick has gotten away with careless ball play all game, and it finally punishes him here in overtime. Wow.
Yeah, a field goal can win it here. Nick's in a really tough spot. Just a really bad fumble on inches there. And to be honest, I see a lot of people going airborne. I always question it, I guess. I don't know what the infatuation is going airborne because the fumble chances have to be sky high.
Yeah, and there's really no reason to. Like he's not in
Not there.
he's not in
You're
a
on
run
inches.
to where like your O line is getting backed up. They're moving forward.
Yeah, I think without the dive, that's a game-winning touchdown run, honestly. But we are going to see the Eagles throw the game-winning touchdown on the other end of the spectrum. So just like that, kind of unfortunately for Nick, big fumble, kind of on the decision to dive at the inches mark, and you see the Eagles take full advantage, and that's how close these games are.
Yeah, very exciting game. I'm glad Nick says he was on conservative, but you can't dive on conservative, so I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you couldn't dive on conservative, most likely, I don't think. A very exciting game. The Steelers do take their first loss right at the inches mark. Probably didn't need to do the dive that led to the fumble, and maybe a learning moment. It's better for this to happen now than in another possible Super Bowl moment for Nick.
Yeah, if you can, minimize the amount of risky plays you're having. He took about 4 Kenny Pickett hits, dove into the end zone twice, and finally got punished.
Yeah, definitely one too many risks, but you can't hate the way you played overall. You played good enough to win, really, and you played a really tight game with one of the top contenders in the league. So hats off to Nick for a good effort, but Steady comes away with a big win over the previous AFC champion.
Yeah, and I'm sure Steady's, taking a sigh of relief over that because Steady definitely thinks he is in a different tier from his opponent.
Sure. Yeah, Steady has arguably the most confidence in the league in his Madden abilities, but definitely, gets a little bit of luck in his favor there because Nick was in a great spot. But sometimes that's the luck you want. Like the fumble on the inches, man. That's the heartbreaking defeat. Hopefully one Nick is able to rebound from because he has been playing really good. But hats off to Steady. Threw a game-winning touchdown. Didn't even need the field goal that could have won it.
Hey, it's me, Steady. What's up, MKL Madden Gamers?
Wow, so Steady just joined us. Steady, how do you feel after that win?
Yeah, you know me, man. Best Madden player ever, man. My defender that punched the ball out, he's getting a huge payday.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to drop a bag on him. He really saved the game for us there, and big players make big time plays, man.
Yeah, definitely. Steady. I mean, when you were watching that last route develop, did you kind of have a special feeling that your receiver was going to be able to split the defense there?
In big time moments, you just got to trust your playmakers to do their thing, man, and that's what we did. We put the ball in his hands, and that's all we could ask for.
Are you pretending to be somebody right now?
Cookie, what are you doing here? Cookie, my fellow MKL Madden gamer.
No, what is going on in here?
Yeah,
dude, Steady. What an exciting effort, man.
Bro, that was awful.
Right at the brink of destruction. You completely turned things around with a punch out at the inches, man.
Do you know who did that? Because I have no clue.
I don't know. All I know is that the dive was probably unnecessary, but very fortuitous for you.
I don't know why people do that. It's very dumb, and I'm glad that.
Yeah, the dive is almost like celebrating into the end zone. It's ends badly a lot of the time.
Yeah, Steady, what is your opinion on the game? So
I feel like everything that could have gone wrong for us did, and it was terrible.
And can you elaborate what went wrong?
He had a lot of interceptions. Second half was a lot better, but early in the game, he had interceptions that we just simply didn't get. I mean, the pick I threw, like the guy got bumped the piss out of. Like I was really hoping I could just like run and catch the ball.
That was an unfortunate throw.
That was, yeah. I'm letting the ball go, I see my guy get bumped, and I'm just thinking, well, I hope Corey put too much juice on this one because like that ball's probably getting intercepted, and then it got intercepted. And I was like, awesome. So I made one mistake the whole game and threw a pick. I feel like he made a lot more and only threw one pick. I was like,
I will say there was one pick he threw to you that looked like his guy just kind of failed to animate, like he could have come across it in the end zone.
I don't even remember the pick that I got.
He was rolling right, and he threw it to a guy who was open if he went up for like an aggressive catch, but he didn't really do anything, and it went right over his head, and you picked it.
Do you know when that happened? I'd love to pull it up.
Maybe like the second or the third.
I think that's my user knocking the ball out. That's literally my user. That's Marquise Bell.
Yeah, honestly, it's unfortunate that you decided to go airborne there because I think Pacheco's
I'm sure
the
you
sort
were
of guy
cheering
that
for him the whole
muscle.
game. When did you say it was? when was the thing?
It was like in the third quarter. He's rolling right, maybe in the third quarter, and he was going to be able to. Maybe it was in the second quarter, but he was cutting back midfield, and he had a good shot at a touchdown pass. But when his guy was coming across the middle, he kind of, maybe it was behind him, but it looked like his guy could have caught it.
I wish I knew.
I don't know when it was.
I think it was maybe
second quarter. It was maybe in the second quarter before halftime.
I think it was Nick's third possession.
Yeah, he could have got. Yeah, he could have gone up 14 that time. So it was when he was only up 7. He throws a pick, and it was on this drive maybe. He gets to the end zone, and when he's coming across, no, it's the one before this one. Yeah, he throws a pick on the drive before when he's up only 7. So I guess it was in the first. Jeez. Long time ago. Yeah, that's it. Here. That's it. Yeah. So it looked like a good read on the quick snap. It looked like his guy was going to go up and aggressive catch it across the middle, but then he didn't really do anything.
I see.
He just kind of ran under it. But that was his. I mean, it looked like it was maybe.
It does look like he could have it. I feel like it might be a bad click on. There's not really an angle.
He might have ran his way out.
I think.
I can't tell.
He's clicked on right now. He clicks on to try and undercut the safety because he sees him. You see this? I mean, I wish I could zoom it in, but it's in like 10p, you know. But you see, he's clicked on right here, and he runs under. Yeah, and I think he went too far under. Yeah, he took his guy out of the play. Yeah. I don't think he would have caught it if he let the computer do it, but certainly it wouldn't have been an interception. But 3 points.
It was certainly a big moment
that we
were like, oh, that could have happened different. But you clutched up, and you also didn't even settle for the field goal you needed. You chucked a touchdown pass to win it. So that was a good exclamation point for you.
I don't even. Oh, you know what? I did do that. I was like, what? How did I score? I don't even remember.
You threw a deep touchdown to somebody.
I just remember as soon as we got the ball in overtime, all I remember is, celebrating like I won the game,
Well, that was huge. Yeah.
Right.
On the inches, that's about as
shout out
bad
to
as I would feel.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, his linebackers did some work.
No, they suck. They're probably why he lost the game. I'd rather have his 80-speed safeties out there. I'm glad he gave me this play over and over. That was pretty nice of him.
I don't know. Oh,
good throw, angle. Corey. Good throw.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Who, the receiver?
Is that little guy, Darby?
The receiver? No, that's the guy we drafted, number 2, with Doc's illegal trade.
Oh, that's that really nice guy.
Yeah, that's why he's doesn't suck.
Very nice. Well, you win the game with your top draft pick that you went out and hunted down. Big congrats. A win you definitely wanted to have.
It just shows that cheating pays off, That's a joke.
Great game, man. All right.
Well, thanks for casting.
Thank you, MKL Madden Gamers.
That's right. I'm excited to hear what Cookie was doing in here. I'm assuming he was pretending to be me.
He did, yeah. He was pretty good at it. Pretty good at it.
I heard that you were imitating me too. So.
Well, I imitated you for a minute, just saying what you would be saying. I don't make bad plays. Corey makes bad plays.
That's right. That is the thing I say.
I have made every right decision. I can't control this. My players got to make plays, stuff that.
That's right. Would you agree?
I was just imitating you. So
I see. Dude, Corey, I love pass later. There was a play where he lurked it really good with his linebacker, but I just freeformed it. And it was a linebacker, so he got.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, it was coming left, right?
What a sweet free form! I love having good players, man. Wow, man.
It was your running back, and he undercut it, and I'm like, ooh, that's a pick. And then you did get it outside of him, so that was nice. Right.
I like having Apprentice. He was a great pickup for us, and we came a long way, guys. But yeah, continue your outro.
Yeah, well, God bless us, everyone. I'm in here with Doc. We had a big fight in admin chat, but I love him. We see the game very differently, but I apologize, Doc. I called you a punk, among other things.
That was really funny. Oh my god, that was so funny.
I was annoyed at life, anyways. So that didn't help.
No, I do appreciate the punk call. It is Star, and you can't get in.
Yeah, it's there forever.
Anyways, but yeah, much love.